Hi everyone, Alicia here from STRETCHIT app. And on today's episode of STRETCHIT Fundamentals, we are introducing our Sculpt Series. We recently released this on our app, focusing on bodyweight training, just to try something different in conjunction with our flexibility training. And today we are zeroing in on the glutes, showing 3 exercises that you can find in our Sculpt Series that focuses on a glute training and breaking down the technique and around the rep ranges you can use if you want to use these exercises on your own. First exercise is a reverse lunge. We'll have 1 foot forward, opposite foot back. Now, I like to take a slight hinge forward when I descend. So not completely upright, as that has a little more emphasis on the quadriceps, which is fine to do. But since we're focusing on the glutes, we want to create a greater stretch at the bottom of the lunge. So leaning forward will create a little more distance from hip to crown of head, allowing that glute to stretch at the bottom and contract at the top. You can even elevate your front foot for more of a deficit and a deeper stretch. Or you can even begin in a static position where you work on bending the back knee and still getting a nice stretch at the front, and then eventually progressing to stepping back and up. Depending on where you are, you can start with body weight, anywhere from 15 to 20 reps. If you're adding load, then the rep scheme will decrease. So the more load you have, that's your intensity element, then you'll probably do less reps. So if you hold dumbbells or even a barbell, you'll probably work within the 12 to 15 rep range. And make sure to switch sides, so you can do one side for your assigned number of reps, you reset, and then the other side for the same amount. If you rather, you could also alternate, but remember you have to do one, 2, and 2. Second exercise is our single leg RDL, where now we work in a hinge position. So the first exercise was a knee flexion exercise. This one is a hinge, where we float the back leg up, but we hinge from our hip, keep the knee soft, and then return upright. Although we're focusing on the glutes, this does also target the hamstrings. A great overall exercise for both glutes and hamstrings. If you need to, you could always hold on to a wall, both hands on a wall, back of chair, or one hand on wall or counter to help you balance here and keeping your hip crease as even as possible. But more importantly, sending your hip back so you can get that nice stretch in the glutes and in the hamstrings, and then rise up. If you find that your hip is opening, your torso is swerving, then definitely use something to help you balance. And of course, same thing on the other side, making sure your knee position remains fixed. You want to move from your hip hinge, send it back, send it back, send it back, and up. And same progressive overload principles apply here to how I describe how you would apply it to your lunges. If you hold a dumbbell on the inside arm, you can still hold on to something on the opposite side if you want to do opposite, or you could do same. Make sure though you keep that hip closed and the torso doesn't begin to open. For RDLs, I like to aim anywhere, if you're doing body weight, around the same 12 to 15, but it will become significantly less when you add load. I like to do maybe 8 to 12 if you're adding, whether it be dumbbells or a barbell. And the last exercise will have a single leg hip bridge. Fantastic way to focus on your glutes through your hip extension. So let's do this leg so you can see better. I have my left foot on the floor and the right knee is fixed at a 90-degree position. I plant my arms by my side and drive the hips up. A couple of things to note. You want to make sure you completely extend the hip and you feel the glutes contract at the top without using momentum from the other leg. If you're having a hard time lifting the pelvis evenly, then you can place your right ball of foot down next to your flat foot for extra support, and eventually you progress to the full single leg bridge. Now, depending on your leverages, you want your foot close enough so when the hip lifts, your shin stays perpendicular to the floor, right? You don't want to be too close or too far out. So for your proportions, you find the appropriate distance for your foot to your hip, drive up, and use the breath pattern of inhaling to and relying on the breath pattern. Inhale to prepare, exhale, drive up, and you can do anywhere from 15 to 20 reps each side. Now, after all that glute work, it is recommended that we stretch them after those exercises. One of my most favorites is the Shin Stack, where you cross opposite ankle over the top thigh. Now, keep in mind, if you find it difficult to sit upright, if you're leaning back and your knee is high, you can take a regressed version by just bending the top knee and keeping the inside one straight, reaching forward from here, or you can keep your hands behind your hips, enabling you to tilt in the same way we did in our RDLs. And that's going to target your butt here in this stretch. Now, you will feel it more intensely if you bend both knees, but only if you're able to tilt. We have to establish this first to successfully target the glutes in the stretch. You can hold it anywhere from 30 seconds to a minute. I like to hold a block in front because if reaching the floor is tough, you have the block bring the floor up to you. In the same way, you can hold hands in front or behind. You can even wiggle side to side to just break into the stretch first. And then once you've settled in, you can hold it for the assigned time from anywhere 30 seconds to a minute. If you would like to find out more about our Sculpt series, make sure you click the link down in the description below. And if you want to see more videos like these, make sure to subscribe to our channel.